Hello, this is Patricia, Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States here in Alaska. And today we are going to be on our 5th card in a series with this stamp set, which I am trying to pull out, Artistically Inked. This stamp set is on page, I believe it's 97, yes, in the annual catalog, May 2021 to April 2022. As I said, page 97. This is the stamp set. These are the dies. I'll show you a little bit closer picture of the dies here in just a moment. But that is the stamp set that we're going to use. And these are the pieces we're going to need. We need a half a sheet of 8.5 by 11 scored in the middle, and then use your bone folder to give that a nice crease or burnish that. Then we are going to start with our evening evergreen, I can say that, evening evergreen layer that is 4 7/8 by 3 5/8, and we will layer that on. On top of that, we're going to have another basic white layer. This is going to be 4 3/4 by 3 1/2, and it will layer like that. And then out of the designer series paper that coordinates with this particular stamp and die bundle, and I just threw papers on the floor. That looks like this. These are many of the designs, and it is called Expressions in Ink Specialty Designer Series paper. Now what that means is that it's got lots of these little gold pieces. You can see those hopefully through the video. And then this layer, we're going to use the B side, if you will, on this particular one. And this designer, you could use whatever you want. You could even use this side, except that we're going to be putting white leaves on it. So it's better to have more coverage. As you can see, I'm going to move the camera just a little bit. There, that's better. Okay, and this designer series paper, or as we like to say, DSP, is 4 5/8 by 3 3/8. So let's go ahead and layer these up. I am going to use the Tombow Mono Liquid Glue. You can use whatever adhesive works for you. And we're going to put this in the middle. We kind of want to make sure we've got about the same distance around our card, or every side around the card. Then we're going to take our white piece. And you've heard me say many times that a layer that is covered up like this, we often want to use, like if I hadn't already put glue on this one, I'd do this. This is the turtle. How cute is that turtle? You might can see him a little bit more on this side. But, and if I hadn't already put glue on there, I would go ahead and do that. But since I have, I won't. But see how these layers are going to be completely sandwiched in there? Once I put this layer on, nobody would ever know that there is a hole in the bottom of those two. Now, I have mentioned that often, with designer series paper, I like to use the seal, because it doesn't leave any bumps or bubbles. But this one is thick enough, I think will be just fine. So we're going to get that on there. Now we need to start making our pieces. Now I have already cut this one, so I'm not going to worry about that. I do need to put my glue away. And I've got some scrap pieces of, not Whisper White, Basic White cardstock. And I'm going to start with Polished Pink. That is one of the current in colors. I'm going to get the large flower, tap, tap on there, and straight down, Give it a good press, hold it a second, and straight up. There's my flower, looking nice. And it is a good idea to close those as you are using them. The next one we're going to use is Pale Papaya. And again, I open this somewhat like an old cosmetic pack. I push on the back end of it. If you can't get it, you can go to the front and then just pull them apart. But I kind of like the, you know, popping it like an old cosmetic. All right, then I want the medium-sized flower, and I'm just going to put that on there straight down, hold it, lift it up, looking good. I'm also going to take a little bit of the center in that Pale Papaya and put it in the center of my larger flower. Now, once I have those done, kind of a neat little trick, if you will, is use your dottage. In a lot of our stamp sets, there are little dots in here. And some of them have quite a bit more than the 4 little dots that we see here. But give it a little bit of dottiness going on there and makes a nice center of my flower. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Then I'm going to take my leaves, and there's a double leaf on here, and I'm going to take Shaded Spruce because that matches my paper very well. You can't see it on the ink pad. You can on the inside, the label of the ink pad, but I'm going to give it a couple of little taps there. This is a really juicy ink pad, so I want to be careful that I don't rock it. There we go. And you know what? I think I am going to do... Did I leave myself any room? I have my other scrap. So I'm going to do another bit of leaves on here. There we go. Very nice. Close this up. And I believe I am going to stamp off a couple of times because that one is so nice and juicy, and clean my stamp. So I have my chamois and give it a good clean, and since I have it out, let's go ahead and clean the others. Give it a good wipe on there, there, and there. Looking good. Okay. This, by the way, I keep in an old stamp packet, and then every now and again I just take it under the sink and really give it a good scrub. Okay, so we are going to bring over the big boss, if you will, and little bear, what are you doing? Okay, then my little dogs, they hear Mama talking, you know, and they've got to be out here. Oh, I can't do that one because I only have one set of dies. So, oops, let's kind of pull things around. So I've got these on my, layered on my platform. And I'm going to bring out my leaf die, my medium flower die, and my big flower die, and match this up. There it is. Set it on there nicely, you know, as matched up as you can. If you have trouble with it, you can always use let's see, I went too far. You can always use sticky notes or some old washi tape, whatever works for you. But I find that, well, unless you knock the whole thing over, that for the most part, I find that they stay on there fairly nicely, especially if you watch what you're doing when you layer your plate on. So put it in there, give it a nice squeeze. These are open dies, meaning there's nothing in the center of these. So I've showed you before where I roll this back second time. Absolutely not necessary. Let me get this out of the way. Fold everything up. Because with these open dies, it's got, and everything kind of squished, it cuts very nicely when you only have one die in there. Whoops, you know what I forgot to do was my other leaf. So, you know what I'll do is just bring the small baby in. Here we go. And the only reason I really used the larger one, here it is because I had several to go through at once. But they will all fit in the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So again, I sort of angle that, and it doesn't like to do it on this paper because, there we go, because it pulls it through when I start rolling it. Another thing that I use sometime is this purple tape to keep the die and the paper together. So whichever works for you. A lot of times if I'm using tape, I put it on my skin so that it won't stick, especially when I push it through the machine. And as you can see, these are getting close to the end of their usefulness. We'll pull those off. All right, so now we have almost all of our pieces. We're going to bring this one back in, but we have our thanks. And I'm going to use the rest of this scrap piece of paper, and I'm going to use my evening evergreen, and I am going to get some ink on there, not paper, on my ink pad. There we go. And stamp. Now, this time, I could even do this crooked because, and I don't like that one, so we're going to do it again. We get our second chance side. Make sure we got some good ink on there, which we do. And down. But I don't have to do this straight because we are going to much better stamp. Okay, so we are going to cut this little puppy out. Now, I don't have my snips here, but that's okay. I'll use these. And so I'm just going to kind of come in here, give it a little bit of a... Notice how I'm moving the paper, not the snips. Okay, they are just staying in the same place, and we're rolling through. Okay, and then go up the side. There we go. And we're just going to continue. Now, I like doing this because it gives a different look than just like a flagged sentiment. And it just looks kind of cool. And it doesn't take that long, especially when you're doing a simple word like this. Now, you'll notice I am not getting terribly, I need to get a little bit closer though. Terribly close in here. I am just giving it a little bit of white around the edge and not even being terribly exact with it. Okay, sort of looks a little better if you don't try to, and then curl that. Now that's just a little bit long there, so I'll cut it out. There we go. Okay, these are garbage. Scissors need to come off my fingers. All right, now we have all of our parts and pieces. Let's put these together. So first, I like to lay it out a little bit so I can see kind of what I want. So let's see, if I put my flower, where do I want it? Maybe right there. I'm going to put this one somewhere like that. Maybe something like that. I'm going to put my leaf here, or one of them. I'm going to put one of my leaves here. I kind of like to have a little bit that even maybe moving that flower over a bit that hangs out over the edge. Makes it, just gives it a little more something. And you know what I forgot to do? Here's my leaves. These leaves are going to go in here, something like this. Maybe I'll move this up a smidgen bit. See, that's why I like to kind of lay it out and give myself an idea of, whoopsie. Well, hello, it's sticking to me. I'm just, you know. And then I'm going to put my sentiment somewhere. Where am I going to put my sentiment? I think I'll put it right there. That looks good. Okay, so that's generally what I want. So I'm going to slide the whole thing off, and I'm going to start with my white leaves. I'm going to bring in my, my pad. Where's my glue? Okay, give it a little bit of a squeeze, and get my glue sponge. I usually have one that's got a little clippy thing on the back, but I'm not seeing it. So remember, I don't want to move this if I can help it, because then I get glue on the other side of my thing that I'm going to put on my card. Leave that there. Okay, so I'm going to pull this off, get this out of the way, and aren't those leaves so cool? I just love those. Sort of let them lay themselves out. There we go. Okay, nice. And then I think I will put my pink flower up and with the dimensional, and then, whoopsie, I can squeeze my, whoopsie, I don't want that to be over the edge. I have to throw that one away. Nope, it's going to stick. Okay, so if I do something like that, then see, I can put my other things underneath of it. And I don't want to put too many dimensionals on, because then I can't get them in there. So something like that. And then this, something like that. Okay, and I think I'll put one dimensional up at the top, and then the rest of it down at the bottom, I'll put a little bit of glue on top of this, and maybe even a little bit under here. And then when I put it in here, there we go, it can connect to everything. It's got a little bit of lift that way, so I can still put leaves wherever I decide I want to put them, which I've sort of, there we go, made that decision already. Okay, yep, like that. And then we'll put this one. Hi, Mama's little bear. Did you come to see what Mama's doing? My little bear is a long-haired Chihuahua. Yeah, I think that'll go right there. And then we are going to put our sentiment up on, oh, I know, Dobie Girl needs to talk to Mama too. Up on dimensionals, but you see how I did that again? So I'm going to use my scissors and cut just a little bit of that edge off. I kind of like that I make these kind of mistakes every now and again, because you need to know, one, I'm a real person. Two, mistakes are only opportunities for figuring out how to fix it. And now you can't even tell that I got a little bit of dimensional down under there, and that's our card How easy was that? I don't even know how long it took us, but the only thing I had done before was cut the paper out and die cut the white leaves. There we go. Now, I say we're done, but truly we're not quite done, because I'm going to take that large flower and I'm going to go back and get, because remember I talk about decorating the inside of your flower and the card, and often I seem to skip that step showing you guys. So this time I decided, nope, we are going to do this. Where is my pale papaya? Oh, it's hiding. And we're going to put us something on the inside of our card. Why do I keep calling it flower? There we go. And now I should have done this before I had cleaned everything, but you know, it is what it is. By the way, I forgot to tell you, we're using Memento Tuxedo Black for our black. And now the inside of my flower is, that is the third time I've done that. For the inside of my card. And I also need to decorate my envelope. So let's do the same thing again. I'm going to stamp off, because you see how I've got an edge of color there, and I don't want that edge to mess up my envelope. So again, I'm going to open up my pink. What's my pink called? Polished pink. Heavenly days. I'm going to put that on my envelope, the front of it. I am going to get my pale papaya. Now, you don't always have to do the same thing that you did to the inside of the card. As a matter of fact, frequently I don't. But every now and again, you know, I do. There we go. Nice. Now we've got an envelope and a card, and they're ready to go. Cool beans, right? And quick and easy. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, I would love a thumbs up down below. If you have not already subscribed, I would absolutely love it if you would do that. And then beside the subscribe button, once you have subscribed, there's a bell. If you will click that bell and select all, then YouTube will let you know anytime I submit a new video. And I'm trying to do at least 2 a week, but trying to get them done so that you will be able to see them. If you would like to go to my Facebook page and ask to be a member or whatever it's called, then I will be happy to do that. There's also StampinWithPatriciablog.blogspot.com, which is my blog, and StampinWithPatricia.stampinup.net is where you can buy any of the supplies. And by the way, I list all of the supplies, or I try to list all of the supplies that are listed below. Thank you so very much. Have a good evening wherever you are, and come see us in Alaska someday.